Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Everybody raise, please take your hats off so we can say the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lori, please do a roll call for attendance.
Mike.
Here.
Sandy. Here. Kelly.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Lori here.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'd like to add a couple things. One, I talked to someone today, and I was told it would be a good idea to form a committee to update the ordinances. Due to the fact that, for example, Ordinance 71 has not been updated since 1967. I was told that it would be a good idea to make it a 6-person committee made up of one Cottrellville Township board member, which I volunteer for, one planning commission member, and 2 residents and 2 commercial people in business in
Could you
Cottrellville
repeat
Township.
that just so I can break down?
Sure. The board would be made up of 1 board member,
Okay,
1 planning commission member,
okay.
2 residents, and 2 business owners on a commercial.
And that's to look over all the ordinances, not just that one?
Yes, it's all ordinances, to give it an update. To see what needs to be reviewed, etc. Also, I should point out, on April 5th, I saw my neurologist, and I have this letter. I can pass down the line.
Does it have to do with the agenda though? Because I think that would be for board comment.
Well, okay, fine, I can wait till comments.
Okay.
Well, actually, you can't wait till board comments at the end of the meeting. It needs to be addressed right now.
Is that something that you want to put on the agenda? Does it have to do with?
Well, it actually is really a mandatory thing. It's not something that would be voted on. For example, it explains that as a result of having a seizure last meeting and sitting on the end, I was pretty much unnoticed until it was my turn to vote. I was
So that's
advised.
more board comments though. So I vote you need to put that in there.
No, board comments takes place at the end of the meeting.
Right, but what does it have to do with putting that on the agenda?
This needs to be brought up immediately because it takes.
It's a medical condition?
Yes.
Okay.
It specifically says, to whom it may concern, Michael W. Zoran was examined and treated in our clinic on April 5th, 2013. I am recommending the following based on the patient's condition. Michael attends the township meetings as an elected board member. It is recommended that he sits next to the supervisor so he can be observed in case he has a seizure. Now, Mrs. Sandra Keys has a medical condition of her own with hearing, so she has to sit next to you. So obviously, by default, I need to swap
That's a
spots.
prescription?
Yes.
Why don't you just get off the whole
no,
board?
Stop. We have to be quiet. As long as it's.
There's been previous Cottrellville Township supervisors
We have to be
that
quiet.
had epilepsy.
If anybody wants to address at this meeting, please address me. Right. Do you want to approve the agenda? Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
As written.
Any
Are
discussion?
we amending it?
Well,
Oh, do you want to amend it for the ordinance?
get-
I will make a motion to have Michael set up this ordinance committee.
So you want to amend it?
Amend the agenda to include that.
So it's going to go under new business?
Good idea.
We'll put it as number 7. And I'm sorry, what did Michael call it?
Michael, how do you want to make a motion?
Yes, I was told it would be a committee to review ordinances.
So you make a motion to establish a committee to review
Yes,
ordinances?
6-person, yep.
I'll second it. Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That was just to amend the agenda.
Right. Okay, approved consent agenda. Motion?
I make a motion to approve it as it was written.
I'll second. Any discussion? Vote, all in favor?
Well, I'm a bit confused because we just approved the first agenda.
The consent agenda is
Oh,
E.
Okay, I wasn't sure exactly.
It's
what it
okay.
said. Yeah, all right, that's good.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I meant to say aye. Okay, open session. Anyone who addresses the board may do so at this time by stepping to the podium. Only ask that you give your name and address for a record's sake, and also that we can hear you.
Well, may I ask spots for Mr. Shepherd? That's the, well, sir, that's, I have a medical prescription for it.
Why don't you shut up?
Okay, guys.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Okay, well, we'll have to look and see with the lawyers and whatever. I don't know how to handle this. I've not been in this situation. So I don't want to have a fight in our meeting.
Sure, no problem.
But I'll ask the attorney.
Have you taken a look at the document, Mr. Chartier?
No, I have not.
We addressed the moderator only.
Has Mr. Chartier taken a look at the?
Have you looked at the document?
No, I have not.
No, he has not. So we'll have to have the attorney, if he's refusing to move his seat, then I'll have the lawyers look at it, and if the lawyer says that that's what has to be done, then we'll make sure that's done.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, back to open session. Anybody?
My name is Dave Daniel, 7289 Broadridge Road. If his health is so bad, why don't you just resign and get the heck off the board? Everybody would be a lot better off.
Thank you.
My name is Kyle Sunday, 5555 Chartier Road. I have a couple things to bring up with you guys. The first one is filing complaints. Why is it not anonymous? If I'm filing a complaint for such as blight, why do I have to give all of my information to you? It's my question for that. What I did was I visited the St. Clair County Court docket website and typed in Cottrellville and found out that trustee Michael Zoran is correct. That attorney John McAfee has not taken a case to court for Cottrellville Township since 2010, and Cottrellville Township needs a different attorney than John McAfee, because he's obviously not doing his job. That's pretty much all I have.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Dwight Hughes Jr. I just wanted to address the board and say that the board needs to act in a manner that is polite. I'm not going to name names, but there are certainly a couple of board members who make comments, remarks, and mannerisms at other board members when they're speaking, and it's not the way that a board should operate. They should operate in a professional manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Move it along. Any unfinished business? There is unfinished business, by the way.
You should have that one. Go ahead. Yeah, you have something to
Excuse
say.
me.
Yes, I do have something to
Oh,
say.
go ahead. I didn't see the podium.
Okay, my name is Susan Spatafor. I live at 5980 Shortcut Road. I have lived there for 3 years, and I have dealt with Mr. Raymond, and I've gotten nowhere. I've called up St. Clair County, I've called the Road Commission, I've talked to Mr. Raymond, I've had him in my yard with somebody from Road Commission. I do not have ditches. My yard is flooded out. It's been flooded out for 3 years. I live in a swamp. I have no ditches. Somebody needs to maintain my ditch that I do not have. I have pictures here that were taken. My neighbor's ditch is overflowed, that's not being maintained. I have a lake in front of my yard. Would you guys like to see these pictures?
Actually, after a meeting, we'll look at those and we'll take
Okay.
your number because I haven't.
Raymond's pushed the button
Right.
to the road commission, to St. Clair County. Raymond had his own agenda, he did nothing. That's why he's no longer sitting up there. You as the supervisor, you have the say. Now, if you guys were sitting in a swamp and your ditches were not being maintained, all I asked, you know what, I told him, pacify me. Clean out my neighbor's ditch so the water will flow. The water's not flowing, he has no water in his front yard, all the water is in my front yard. I'm sick of it. Somebody's got to do something. There's no money in the budget, I pay taxes, I hear, well, out of all the taxes that you pay, we only get $60 of it. I don't care if you're getting $6 of it, I want my ditches dug out. I'm sick of it.
Okay, well,
You
after the
sprayed
meeting,
the
we'll take your
ditches
name and number.
for West Nile virus.
Right.
How are you gonna get rid of West Nile virus if you have stagnant water sitting there?
I do not know.
You can
But
see
after the
the
meeting, we'll
pictures.
take your name and number and I'll be happy to talk with you.
Well, something's gotta be done.
Name is Dave Neal, 7289 Broadbridge Road. I used to farm, and I always tried to get the ditches cleaned so I could drain the fields. And it's definitely the homeowner's responsibility to clean the ditch. You gotta get all the
There is no
neighbors.
ditch. There is no
Well,
ditch.
it don't matter.
That's the problem.
You gotta-
There is no
Okay,
ditch.
you guys,
You gotta get all the neighbors to sign a petition, and then the county will come and clean the ditch. If you don't get all,
Terry's,
well,
well, we'll find out, thank you for
My
helping.
point is that.
We'll
Sir,
find out the proper.
I actually
procedures.
spoke with the Drainage Commissioner, Bob Wiley, on the
Okay,
phone.
everybody needs to stop. Everything is supposed to be addressed to me. If you cannot address your questions and your comments to me, I will ask you to leave the meeting. That's it. Thank you. Is there any-
I guess I might as well keep going on the ditch situation since we're in it. My name is Anthony Spatafor. I live at 5980 Shortcut. Okay? But I guess I'm going to address this to you, Mrs. Lisco. It was brought to my attention that Mrs. Rosenberg said that why don't they buy their own dirt and make their own ditches?
I
Okay?
don't know.
I don't know that either. It could be hearsay. I'm just addressing it. All right? Whether she said it or not, I don't know. The next question is, why is there a deputy supervisor? And as a taxpayer in Cottrellville Township, for as far as I know, for 35 years, there hasn't been a deputy supervisor. I want an explanation why there is one. I would like one.
You will get one. It's on our
Okay.
agenda.
Okay. That's probably why I addressed it. Second of all is everybody approved, I heard that they approved a raise on the board for 2 board members.
That was our compensation commission. Made a
The board still
recommendation.
approved it.
Was it approved before the board agreed on it or voted on it?
That was their recommendation, and then the board did.
Okay, but was it approved before actually, like on beginning of March, before it actually was voted on to be approved?
You can't change it, you have to vote on it before you can make it happen, I guess that's what
Okay.
I'm looking for.
All right, so
And
so
that
what you're
was-
saying is that it wasn't approved before
It wasn't
everybody
in
got their
effect,
check.
right, it wasn't in effect.
It was
And
put
we
on the
also had
table.
to make sure that
It
we
was
had
put
the
on the
money.
table a couple times before actually people got their, before it was approved.
It was, the raise wasn't in effect until after the vote.
Okay,
Does that help you? And we
Little bit.
couldn't approve it because we didn't know what was in our budget.
okay. And I guess my next question would be for the supervisor. Is he a personal friend of yours?
I'm sorry?
Is
I
he
am the
like-
supervisor.
I'm sorry, the deputy supervisor. Is he like a personal friend of yours?
Yes.
He is? Okay, do you remember when you were campaigning? You got right here on this pamphlet? You know what that first line says? Do you want to read it?
Hmm? nepotism is family members.
And friend?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So you just said he was a friend?
Well, reason being, if you want to discuss this after, because we have to stick to our 3 minutes, I'll be happy to discuss it with you.
All right.
Being that the vote, the reason why I did that was being that I won by only 21 votes.
Okay.
I felt that it was the best interest of the community for both of us,
Okay.
and that way everybody would make sure that we had a well-rounded group.
Well, I'm just only pointing it out to you
Oh, no,
because
that's
that was
fine,
part
that's
of
the
your
reason,
campaign.
that was the reason, it had nothing to do with a bunch of it, it had to do with how close the vote was, and I thought that it would better suit the community to have a little bit of each other.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move along.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I'm
believe, I think that was it, let me check. Okay, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Okay, moving along to unfinished business. We do have unfinished business. We have the opening of the website, because we're gonna do it today,
Yeah,
but we only had one.
okay.
That, so then,
I
we're
forgot
gonna
all
have to do
about
that.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to put it on unfinished business. Because we put it out there, what was it, January?
The website was approved in
To put out
December.
bids, right.
Right.
It was December, so we put out the bid and we got one.
So you're adding that to the agenda, or?
To unfinished business.
Okay. Can you just open it up?
And then we can.
All right, we have a bid from Revise Software Systems. And this is more your domain, to know what they're talking about.
Basically, I think, I don't wanna, I feel that we should all take a look at it, have a chance to look at it before we make a decision on it. I know it's important for us to get our website up, but being that majority of the township doesn't have it up anyway. So, is anybody else, any discussion, Michael?
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of, although the people may not have high-speed internet access, they do still have internet access. So,
So do you think we should make a decision on this right now, or do you wanna look at it and see what they have to?
yeah, we always need
offer?
to do research.
Right, so would you, what would you like to do? Anything you wanna discuss?
Well, I mean, are you strictly opening the bid and that's it, or are you opening the bid, are you inviting a study to bids?
Well, that's what I would think, that's interest. Well, it's a catch-22, because it's important for us to have a website, this is the only person that submitted it, but, or is
Oh, if
everybody-
it's the only person that submitted it, wow, that's pretty
I know.
interesting.
is anybody, this is the lady, didn't I give you the information about her,
Riggins?
having talked to her? Were you able to talk to her, so are you familiar with it?
A little bit, yeah, because there wasn't a whole lot of study information available.
What's that? Yes.
Let's go. Is that a local bid?
No, it's not. Actually, I don't know. We just opened it, so we could always get a special. I'd like to get our website up and running because.
Appears like it's the only quote.
Right.
We either have to vote, decide if we do want it or we don't want it. Or if there's any discussion from anybody else that has a suggestion of they don't want it. $240, $200.
No, are we gonna
That's to
debate
design it
it
and
now, or are we going
Well,
to
we
look
took a
into
class,
it?
we did take a class in it, and it was really very good.
Yeah, Sandy and I took the class and then.
I don't feel comfortable making a decision tonight until I can look through the whole thing. I'm not gonna make everybody in the audience
Right.
sit while we say.
Okay, well then, let's get a
I'll
motion.
make a
to-
motion to table it till
the next meeting.
the next meeting, or do we need to decide earlier than that?
It's a month away. We could always, everybody do their research. I hate calling it special meeting. But it's important to.
website.
But we need a website, so how about we all give it, what's a sufficient amount of time if we have to call a special meeting, it's important to the township that we get our website up and running.
Yeah, we can go to a special meeting.
So what's the time limit we're gonna give it for everybody to research this company? 2 weeks, because the thing, 2 weeks, okay.
So we'll table it until, what's today, the 10th, the 24th.
Okay, so who's making the motion?
I'll make a motion to table it until, what day is the 24th then?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Until the 24th.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
We'll be there for that.
Oh.
Yeah, we won't be here.
No.
Let's
We're
have a
training.
quorum. What special meeting? Oh,
She's a key
yeah, I'll
person.
be gone too. I know.
Let's make it 1 week.
For the calendar. Let's do 1 week. Is 1 week sufficient for
That's fine.
everybody? Okay, we'll do 1 week.
Table for 1 week.
Table for 1 week, so you're
17th.
seconding? 17. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. New business. We're gonna have a presentation from Controller Security System. Hank. This is for video cameras for the hall and the grounds.
Hi, my name is Hank Lux. I'm president of Controller Security Systems. This is Dan Lux, happens to be my son. We're a family business. And we have some material to pass out to the board. I guess you can look at on the specifications. Actually, I'll let you talk about the specifications of what we intend to do, and I'll pass them on. Dan is a nice level 4 certified engineer in cameras and also fire alarm systems. I guess I'll just go down one if that's okay. If someone could help us after the presentation, I accidentally locked our coats in the in the office.
Sure, we can help that.
Thanks. Then I think, I'm not sure if you made this, but
Yep.
it also, we're also recommending a security system. Actually, we're recommending the security system even prior to the camera system, because we've actually had incidences where we put in a camera system, and they break in and steal the camera system. So we feel that we should do both. And the pricing for the security system is quite low. So it's a definite recommendation. And Dan, did you want to proceed with some questions, or I know they're familiar, or just explain how the system works? They already have copies of
Yeah,
it.
sure. Well, first I want to know if anyone had any questions on the proposed camera system that we proposed. You take a look at it.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, for example, I recently had my nameplate stolen on in the hall there. I was the only board member who suffered from that problem. Now, is your security system something that would have caught the person who did that?
There would be, if it's in an area where there's a camera in there, you could go back and review the video to see who did that. I think that's one of the areas that we're recording.
Okay.
Correct.
And how about like in this meeting? I mean,
Oh, yes, yeah, there would be 2 cameras in this room. So,
where exactly would those be placed?
well, one of those corners, or each one of these corners here. On the final day of the installation, we do a walkthrough with one of the board members and go over all locations at that point. Sometimes adjustments are made depending on what we want to see or want to do at that point.
A mention was made, I think I know what you're referring to. We will install a microphone so that the meeting will be recorded, and it will be held on what's called a DVR,
Right.
digital video recorder. You never change tapes. It just continually goes, and as it uses up space, it's a hard drive that, as it uses up space, it just erases the back part and starts all over, so you never change the tape. Then anyone, whoever would have a passcode, could then take a memory stick and have a copy of the meeting. Take it with them, as long as, however, I don't know how you operate as a board, so I leave that part to you.
And that also covers the parking lot, right?
Yes, explain where the outdoor cameras are.
Yeah, well, there's two exterior cameras. One is going towards the rear, looking at the rear of the building. One is at the front, looking at the parking lot, as an overview picture.
All right, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And then inside, explain the inside cameras too. There would be, I believe we're adding 4 inside cameras, Dan?
Correct, right in the hallway and in
All the hallways.
I'm not sure what rooms you call which, that's why we have to do the final walkthrough.
We would do a final walkthrough with exact placement for your best optimum seeing what you're trying to see. And explain the technology we're using inside and
Sure. For the outside cameras, we're using a special low light camera that needs minimum lighting to see in color. They seem to work, we've used them before, they work very well. For the inside cameras, although a lot of times lights get shut off, these cameras have IR, so they can see in pitch blackness. So if lights get turned off, it won't be a color picture, but it lights up the room and you'll still get color.
And what's the, how many lines of resolution?
It's on the spec sheet, 600 lines of resolution. Recording's a little bit lower than that, mainly because that's the technology that's available. But usually it runs around 500 lines of resolution when it actually records.
Now, when you say 500, is that vertical or horizontal? If I can't.
But actually, if you were to look on the spec sheet, you'd have to go onto the second page.
Okay.
And on the second page, if you were to look at, you'd have to look at, it records it what's, there's 3 or 4 different levels of resolution recording, 4 DVRs, and one's called D1, it's called SIF, and I don't know the exact, like 768 by 480 and those are programmable on the DVR. We program that. Also, it's programmable as frames per second. How many frames per second are we going to record at? And we set that at the perfect level for every situation. We also put cameras on motion so that they're not recording when no one's in the room. So if no one's in the room, it might only be recording at 1 frame per second. So we're getting something until someone activates it and then it raises up to a higher level. So I do all that type of programming after getting an idea of what you guys are looking for.
Right, that was actually one of my major concerns, because on the previous information that you gave, it said, okay, a 2 terabyte hard drive or DVR, but generally speaking, when you have multiple cameras, that would really suck up the space. But you just said there's multiple, so does each camera get its own 2 terabyte?
No, it's 2 terabytes total.
In total.
In total.
Right.
In total. Normally, when you have an incident, you're going to know about it within the first 24 or 48 hours. An incident you're going to want to record or get it off, and you're going to, have to get those things off before it re-records over. You could, keep adding on forever. The problem is, even if you, and it's programmable. I could give you 30 days or 60 days, but then the resolution would be so low, frames per second would be so low, it wouldn't be worth anything. The other problem is, if you had an incident 37 days ago, try to find it, and who's going to sit there and look for that incident? I mean, you're talking, real time. You would never be able to find it because if you knew what time it was, you would already have gotten it. So really, from my experience in this industry, you're going to know within the first 24 hours of something happening, something you need. Or at the latest, probably usually at 72 hours because of a weekend or something, you'll find out about it, and then you'll be able to pull it off. But with this type of setup and these amount of cameras in motion, you're probably going to get 2 weeks. I can't be specific. Depends on the resolution we set it at and the amount of activity you have. Not very much activity in here, they're going to get longer.
But it sounds like they're not constantly monitored.
Correct.
Okay.
The outside cameras, of course, will record a lot more because it's outside, and you can put them on motion as well. But again, it's hard to tell what would happen when it's raining. There's motion, so that's
I would like to add 2 terabytes may sound small, but actually 1 terabyte is standard. 500 gigs is actually standard in 1 terabyte. But we spec 2 terabytes just to be sure that you have more hard drive space. And then, are there any other questions about that portion? And then we'll talk about the security system.
Sure.
Do you teach us how to use this? You're
No.
going to teach us how?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Dan's our tutor, so.
Yeah, yeah,
Have
after,
we
yeah,
have problems doing them out?
right, after the setup, we'll definitely
Oh.
teach you how to use everything.
I neglected to say, our company's been in business for 40 years, and we have, his son is now in our company too. So he just started, so third generation. We do operate our own monitoring station also. Not very few alarm companies operate their own monitoring station. We do. So we've been around a long time.
I figured he did, but.
And I'm the immediate past president of the Burglar and Fire Alarm Association of Michigan, so we've been around, we've been doing it a long time. Are there any other questions about the camera system?
Downloading it, if we need to download a portion, how long does it take to download? I know Mr. Zoran has a long download time when he does this.
Yeah, it depends on the length of how much you're gonna download. You can download one camera at a time, which if you have a lengthy download, that's what would be recommended. Would just be, or you can download all of them at a time for a small clip. If you're looking at a longer clip, it's gonna depend on the computer that you're.
Well, for instance, if I'm doing the minutes for this meeting,
Right.
and I need to have the tape, so I can make sure I have all my motions correct, is that gonna take a long time?
Can I
Yeah,
help?
go ahead.
You're mainly interested in taping, I shouldn't be saying that, excuse me, in recording, because there's no tape involved anymore. But you're interested in recording the meeting. So you would probably recording one camera with a microphone, and it would just be looking at the board, whatever is decided at that time. So I suspect with recording just one camera, it's not going to take that long. The other problem is speed is going to be determined by the speed of your computer.
Right.
I don't know what you have. I mean, the newer computers are boom like that.
Now, if you're here and we have it set up right, you'll be able to view it right off the computer, and you won't have to download
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, so it'll be instant. You'll be
Okay.
able to just get it right then and there.
Also,
Makes it
if
easier.
Right,
you have,
I'm gonna guess half an hour. It depends, I mean, how long the meetings, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's-
Usually they're about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say approximately half an hour. You can set it and forget it, go right on the stick.
yeah, I'll just,
And
you
then you
can
can
search.
take it with you. And then taking it off the stick and taking it to another computer, again, will be on how fast that computer is and how old it is.
Right.
The newer the better.
Okay.
Yeah, just so you know, Lori, the transfer itself from a USB device over to a computer is virtually instant. I mean, it's very quick with USB.
Pretty fast.
Yeah, USB 2.0, and that's really quick. The thing that takes a while is when you're creating a video of it or putting it on YouTube or something like that. That's what.
Do you want to start talking about the security?
Yes. The security system that we propose, most people are now familiar with security systems. We're using a control panel, one keypad. We have 3 doors that would have contacts on them in case somebody came in through a door. We also have 3 motion detectors spec, and also battery backup, a special jack for the phone, so if somebody tries to interfere with the phone call, it won't allow them, it'll just take over the telephone line, and the wire and labor and so on. And our price for the, well, you have the price, I don't know if I should be, I should say, well, the price for the system is $562, so it isn't,
That's the price for the whole system?
just for the security system, yes. Not for the camera system. The camera system is a different price, but the price for the security system is $562. I don't know if it's appropriate for us to tell you the price, but I think just shoot
It's
it off.
public knowledge, so that's like,
But
it's public knowledge. So
I didn't mean that it
Oh,
was
that's
secret,
okay.
but I didn't
No,
know
it's
your
not.
protocol, I'm sorry.
it's okay, I appreciate it.
Should I recite it? The price for the entire camera system, including everything, is $4,837. So,
So 562 for the security system would be $5,399.
right. In the security system, I did say it has a battery backup. If you lose power, it automatically averts the battery.
And you,
We also get a signal at our central monitoring station also.
is there any more
Or
questions?
AC power loss too. There's a number of things. It's just would be too lengthy, I think, at this meeting to go through all the things in monitoring.
If you guys happen to get that security, that means this one would be outlawed?
Correct.
That's actually an ordinance.
The actual goal is to make sure everybody's would be,
Would you
Not
like,
outload, but we were looking into just having that so that it would alleviate everything else.
Dan has an iPad, and he's gonna pull up a system so you can take a look at the quality of the picture. If you wish, you can pass it right along to the board.
You mentioned the monitoring.
Yes.
Is there a monthly bill then
Yes,
that goes with the monitoring?
The monthly monitoring fee is $25. If you have a network here,
There's a live view
if you have a network, that is what each of you would see on your computers. As long as you have a network, you would hook up to the network.
Now, would the Cottrellville Township Board need to purchase microphones? Because that was actually
So
something.
we've included them.
Oh, you've, okay, so in the same way that these ones hook up to the audio
You
cassette.
know what will be, if there's a camera right there, it's just a small microphone, and please do not expect FM quality sound, but you will hear what everybody's saying. And so far in the meeting, it doesn't seem like anybody's bashful.
I never saw it look so busy here.
I'm sorry.
I said I never saw it look so busy in front of our township.
Thank you, Nate.
One thing I should mention to Supervisor Fiscelli-Lisco is the cameras in the audience would never be banned. That would violate the Michigan Public Open Meetings Act. So.
We'll look into it. Any more comments, questions? Thank you.
Okay. Other than the audience never gets to see anything, is it okay if I do this? I don't know if you guys can see some of the picture, the quality of the pictures. It's just on an iPad.
That's good.
So it doesn't get much better than that. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you,
And
gentlemen.
can somebody help us
From
retrieve?
Controller Security,
I'm kind of
I
embarrassed.
appreciate it.
So,
We're gonna just do it.
Oh, I'm sorry, they're not done yet.
We're going to do an extra, can you shut this off? We're going to do one extra camera in the hallway that we missed, but at no charge, if you approve this. And it'll be looking in that direction down that main hallway where we took a look before the meeting. So that'll be included too. So it really ends up to be 6, I think.
Thank you.
what office is your code in?
And the comments.
The conference room. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
you.
You know, I just thought of one more thing.
We're good.
Sure. Last year, there was a thing that was broken into inside the fence. What was
The
that?
air conditioner.
Yeah, the air conditioner. I couldn't think of the word. Would that security system have that on film, so, to prevent that in the future?
Where's it located?
Over there, we won't have a camera on that one.
No, the cameras on the outdoor are looking to observing the parking lot.
Right.
So the answer is no.
Would we be able to add on to that later if it fit into the budget?
Correct.
Yes, in fact, the DVR we did is an 8 position, so we still have some room left for a couple extra cameras.
Okay, good.
Variably, later we get a call, hey, how about a couple extra cameras?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Since he's the only quote, I move that we,
Is there a
Go ahead
motion
with
to
this.
purchase?
yeah, we go ahead and purchase the system.
Is there a second to that?
All right.
Sorry.
Thank you very much, I appreciate your confidence, we'll do a good job for you.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
And can I-
We got a question.
Excuse me.
Hold them.
All right, thank you.
No, she's got it right there.
Oh, you have yours too?
Yep.
Oh, great, thanks. Sorry to be.
Thank you. Oh, no, you're not at all.
Thank you, talk to you later.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
there's a question back there.
If you don't.
can we wait for the public comments or?
Ma'am,
Go ahead.
my question is, this is my first one I've attended, this is a presentation or did you receive a quote?
We received a quote.
Have you requested quotes from anybody else?
We have looked into other quotes. We had actually a gentleman, I think it was in January, that never showed up. I contacted 2 other companies and they never called back. So that's about it.
This was just done as an informal quote then, I'm assuming?
They put in the bid. When I called, I asked for several
But
quotes.
you advertised for bids and nobody bid?
Nope, we did not advertise for bids.
Thank you.
I actually agree with that man. Generally speaking, the golden rule is you want to have at least 3 quotes.
Right, did you get any? Because I called 4 companies, I had 1 man not show up, I had 2 people not call me back, and This was the only one.
Well, that's,
And we knew we were looking for, we're gonna move it along. Approval of the deputy supervisor duties.
We didn't vote on that or not?
Oh, didn't we vote on it? Sorry. Ken made the motion, Sandy second, all in favor?
no.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries.
I'd like can I get a roll call vote of that so I can make a record of something?
Mike?
In response, what's that?
You're calling for a roll call vote?
Yes.
Isn't it?
And I said Michael. So
I
what's
usually
your?
want my vote, yes,
Yes.
no, no.
No, right. All right, Sandy?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Hold on, let me call your names.
Oh, sorry. She's slowing down because she's.
I'm old.
You look on me.
Okay, Kelly,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Lori Nelson.
Motion carries.
I wanted to make a note.
We're done, we're moving along.
Well, hold on,
Michael, roll call, moving along. Approval of supervisor duties. Or Lori takes over. Okay, is there any discussion? Are you okay? Are you ready? Any discussion?
I'm not sure what we're voting on.
The job duties for the deputy supervisor?
Yeah, I would like to have some discussion. I'm wondering why, for the first time in Cottrellville Township history, we need the expansion of government to have a deputy supervisor.
Well, there's a lot of things that were left open. It's very time consuming to try to figure out and make sure that everything is, how do we want to say, running properly and with the contracts and everything, looking into like how you're looking into the ordinances. I'm doing the same thing, looking into the contracts and everything else. I don't want to make sure anything's being missed. Tom is very familiar with the roads, where somebody from the community called as a liaison for the roads. He's excellent with that. We eliminated the gentleman that we're paying $4,000 a year for to maintain the park, which was looking at the swing sets once a month, so the screws and nuts and bolts were tight, to rake the mulch and the sand once a month and empty the garbage cans once a week. That's something Tom, with acquiring the cemetery, it's something that he would be doing as well, by eliminating that position and saving the township $4,000. Responsible for ordinance enforcement, just have an additional person to help you along, so that, you know, you think that's pretty much it. I'd also like to add to the duty of Sergeant of Arms for Mr. Kaufman as deputy supervisor, and the Sergeant of Arms is the person that's appointed to keep order during the meetings and to keep the time during public comment and board comment and all. And I got that from the commissioners. The county commissioners use the Sergeant of Arms, and they're very helpful. I'd also like to discuss wages for this position. Being that we saved $4,000, take half of that. We also saved $2,700. We saved quite a bit of money this year when you think about our budget. You're giving me everything. I would like to,
Specifically, what, please,
I would like to say, they're right there.
Great, but you're now naming positions that you claim were eliminated by hiring us.
Okay, the vote is going to be for his duties that are right there. And I would like to vote for his wages to be $2,700 plus state and mileage. Do I have a motion?
$2,700, that's in $2,700.
Yeah, a year. I didn't want to go with the suggestions of an hourly rate that the other deputies got. Being that it's a, when I talked to MTA, they basically said what you feel is good, what you feel is a comfortable rate with the budget and that. And Tom thought that was fair. That's quite a bit of duties. He's already been helping without taking any compensation. It's just,
Kelly, I'd like to offer my services like that. Would you hire me, please?
you got it.
Seriously, I'd like that position.
It would be great if we could have people volunteer to help like this.
I already volunteer.
It sounds like you mean
No,
for free?
I would like this job.
You mean for free or something?
No, you pay $2,000.
It's.
This was
I
not
get to buy
budgeted or
statute-
anything.
It was budgeted, I just did the budget. And I, by law, can appoint a deputy if I choose to.
Although no one else in history has done it.
So we're gonna
And
do,
it's a Friday.
it was my motion, do I get a second?
I'm sorry.
Well, hold on, as far as discussion goes, there's a very important question I have.
I'm gonna move,
The current ordinance enforcement officer is Mr. Bill Clausen. He's paid $50 a week to do the
is
job.
that in his contract?
I don't know, because when I tried to get it each time through the Freedom of Information Act, I was not given it.
Lori, I have yet to see any Freedom of Information Act since you've been a trustee.
I asked for it in November.
And you filled out the form?
No, I
She
didn't
give
fill
it
out
to
the
you?
form, but I would ask for it in November. I was told Mr. Clausen needed to be here.
Okay, well, I'm gonna move it
Hold on.
along. We made the motion.
At the budget.
Do I get a second?
Then seconded. And the motion is
To accept the duties with the inclusion of the sergeant of arms, pay at a pay rate of $2,700 plus mileage. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion
I
carried.
would like that in a roll call vote, please. And I'd like to make a comment.
Michael?
Yes, that's my right.
Sandy?
Yes.
Oh, it's Michael.
No, well,
Oh.
right, I'm voting.
No, that's why I said Michael.
Yeah, no, right, I'm voting no, but I have a comment to make.
I'm making a roll call now. Kelly?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Lori, yes.
And
Michael?
Motion carries.
my comment is,
Michael, your vote.
my vote is no, so,
Thank you.
no, whenever you're ready to. take a
Okay, we're
comment.
gonna, Michael, you can wait for board comments.
But
we're gonna move
part of the roll
on
call
to
vote, if you
revise-
read Robert's rules, is.
We're not, Robert's rules. We're moving on to revise the form from Michael.
Kelly's rules.
We've all seen the packet. It appears to me that Michael is trying to have more clarification on the complaint form. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have some discussion. I'm gonna need, have each of you, did each of you study Resolution 2003-10 that I sent to you in an email?
Yes.
Okay. There's no question that it, Resolution 2003-10. Yeah. Yep. It's just a question of which form, because, Michigan Township Association doesn't hide the fact by legally saying you do have the right to file anonymously. For example, when they say, if it involves a complaint such as blight, for example, where anybody can walk up at any time and confirm it, there's no need for you to sign it or something, or write in your name. A lot of people hold grudges. I had people who represent a charity organization. They said, if someone comes with the Freedom of Information Act, then they're going to hold a grudge against me. And this woman even said, I believe in my Second Amendment right to bear arms. She says, I wouldn't mind shooting somebody if they did something to me, but my kids don't carry guns on them. And she was nervous somebody would do something to their kids in the society we live in today. So I designed two forms. One just is virtually identical with less confusion to the existing one. It simply says at the top, please include as much information as possible. You may remain anonymous in order to protect your identity. The word, or the category called date is changed to today's date in order to reduce confusion. name adds the word your name in order to eliminate confusion, to make it so there's no doubt whose name is being asked for. Same thing, address now appears as your address, phone number now appears as your phone number, and address of complaint is there, and your complaint is there, and it's a signature optional. The other potential candidate is pretty much the same form. It's just, it includes a quote I received in an email from Catherine Mulvat, the Director of Information Services from the Michigan Township Association. She says, in the case of anonymous complaints, the complaint form would be filled out by the township personnel member who viewed the violation after checking it out following the anonymous complaint. It doesn't matter who made the complaint. If an ordinance violation exists, the ordinance should be enforced. It's not a matter of he said, she said in this approach, because the township personnel have viewed the violation and that established the violation. Personally, with all due respect, considering Mr. Clausen has said for years that he can't do anything.
Which form do you, so what's your motion?
In order to reduce confusion, I believe this NV3, this version of NV3, which includes the quote, is the superior form, which would minimize confusion.
Well,
Is there anybody else that
I have a comment with regard to that quote. I called Catherine Mulholt and asked her if she did indeed state that. She said yes, but she also stated more than that. And so it's not a complete quote. I don't see any need to muddy up the form with that, as long as we understand the anonymity complaint, meaning that someone from here checks it out.
That's exactly what I was saying. Mr. Clausen for 6 years.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to accept the form labeled NB number 3, this one.
Which one?
NB.
Mr. Chartier, please do not tell her that. I'm not allowed to. I have you on video on YouTube where you're giving her instructions and she does.
He asked what number the form was.
So, well, I'm just saying.
This one.
He's a little paranoid, or what?
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, they both have that big translation.
That means new business number 3. So we're saying, you're saying
All right, I'd like to make a motion to accept this one without the, okay, sorry, I apologize.
So are you.
Is there a
So
second?
second. Hold on. Accept.
Sorry, I didn't know. All in favor?
Accept.
So, what is the motion?
The motion is to accept the Cottrellville Township complaint form, the second one.
Without
I guess it
the
would be
blue
B.
text on it.
All right, fine. Well, actually, that's.
You second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of Cottrellville Board of Trustees. I think that's different. Move the rules of voting. Oh, it's okay, no.
I might have put those in the wrong.
The only thing that I would like to change would be number 1. I'd like to delete the middle section where it says those board members abstaining, and take that out and put members may abstain from the vote at the end.
You have to have a really good reason to abstain, because your number one
Right.
duty is to vote.
That's
So
what I'm
it has to
saying.
be a definite conflict of interest to abstain.
So do you want to just take that out? Take like whole number 1 out? Or just the abstaining part? Like make it board members participate in fact-finding, discussion, and debate. to
Yeah,
reach
because it's a
consensus.
given if you're abstaining, you
Okay,
don't
so then,
participate.
how about we'll make it read, board members participate in fact-finding, discussion, and debate to reach a consensus that the board should take action on that.
That's fine. Is that understandable there? So we're just taking the word abstaining out?
Right. I want to make a motion to accept.
You making it, Kelly?
Yep.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, I didn't know it.
Aye. Everybody said aye. Motion carried. Let me know when you're ready. I keep forgetting you're writing. Go ahead. Approval of Cottrellville Board of Trustees Rules of Engagement. I don't have an old copy, so I'm a little. On number 3, I wanted to change, to add after not individual members, but with the exception of the specified statutory duties of the supervisor, clerk, and treasurer.
On number 3?
Yeah.
It looks like you've got a modified version there.
Yeah, I just fixed it. I'm not sure, I don't have a.
Here, you want mine? So you can read it?
Please.
Thank you.
And then
This
write
was
it
just
in.
my writing. Nobody else had notes that I thought. Do you have an old one?
Yes.
That's what, these are just my notes.
Oh,
that
I saw
wanted
it
to
in
change.
red.
But I didn't have new.
Oh, I thought maybe the red text was the updated.
Yeah, that was my way of just trying to figure it out. And then, I changed number 10. I'd like to change number 10 to number 7.
You're just swapping numbers?
No, well, I just thought it flows according to the meeting. And so it doesn't really matter, you can put the same number if you want, but.
Now, does this only affect board members? Okay.
Well, it's news media equipment and private recording devices such as cameras, cell phones, tablets, etc. shall not disrupt or influence proceedings. All devices shall be set up in the back of the boardroom behind the last row of chairs by the southwest wall of the building. All devices will be turned on when the meeting is called to order and turned off when the meeting is adjourned. Failure to follow these procedures will result in the removal of the person or equipment from the township hall.
Now, if
So
that
that
is,
would be my number 10. And this is all gotta send to the lawyer to make sure that we're not.
right,
breaking
oh,
any
well,
laws.
I can save you some time because I did some investigation. As long as this is limited to board members, that's
No,
fine.
it's all, it's everybody.
Because you can't,
We have a right to decide where we want to place our media equipment.
because you'd essentially be placing everybody in the corner.
Well, if they want to use their cell phone in the corner, that's their choice.
Yeah, I don't
We have
really
a
trust
right
you guys,
to
so I'm
stay.
gonna go.
We're not at public comment, so.
I think he's probably just saying he's gonna go stand in the corner over
So
there.
anyway, that's what I want to change.
Which one's the southwest corner?
And I think,
Is it southwest or southwest over there?
That's southwest.
and then for number 8, I'd like to add all comments and questions are to be addressed to the supervisor. Number 8, all comments and questions are to be addressed to the supervisor. Make it a motion. I'll second.
So it's to accept the trustees' rules of engagement.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I insist on a roll call vote, please.
Opposed? If anybody- I didn't
Well,
hear what you
I thought
said.
usually when Lori does a roll call, she likes to go down the line.
I didn't hear what you said. Everybody in
I
favor?
would like a roll call vote. I voted no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because we literally have people in the corner because they don't trust this other group of 4 board members.
We don't trust you.
trust you.
Yeah, like we trust you two.
Okay.
So, well, I want the
So,
nutmeg.
oh, he wants a
It's
roll
your
call.
relation.
So we're doing.
And I
all
want
the
to
make
time.
rain
I
over.
want the
Oh,
nutmeg.
sure.
Stop.
There's people
Like
back
felony
there in the
insurance
corner.
fraud.
All right, roll call vote. Kelly?
It's trustworthy.
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Lori, yes. Michael?
No, because people are
We
backed up
don't
in
need
the
a
corner.
response. And Sandy?
Yes.
I just want it
Okay,
documented in the
motion
minutes.
carries. Approval of board members' comments to be limited to 3 minutes per board member. Can I get a motion for that?
Well, there needs to be discussion.
Oh, discussion. Anybody up for discussion?
Yes. During the last meeting, during my board comments, I very rudely had two, I'll just name names because it's stating a fact. Supervisor Kelly Fiscelli-Lisco and Clerk Lori Russellberg did the old trick of motion to adjourn and second, and then everyone down the line gave it an aye. And that was it, I was cut off. I want to know, are board comments going to be vulnerable to that type of attack, or will they be just as invulnerable for 3 minutes as public comments?
Well, the public felt that, being that they were limited to 3 minutes at the supervisor's discretion, that the board members should have the same privilege.
Okay, so it's not vulnerable in that way.
It's just fair to everybody.
Okay. So it'll essentially be public, except you don't have to get up and go to the podium.
Right.
Okay. I'd be willing to vote for that one.
Okay.
Are you making the motion, Mike?
No.
I'll move. Make that motion. 3 minutes per board member.
Second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Supervisor's report. Did purchase a computer. Oh, the review of ordinance. Oh, yeah, number 7. I put it out here on this one, sorry. So we need a motion to make. Go ahead, Michael, what's your motion?
I make the motion to form a committee of review of ordinances made up of a total of 6 people. 1 Cottrellville Township board member, 1 planning commission member, 2 residents of Cottrellville Township, and 2 business owners in Cottrellville Township.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Computer purchase. I did purchase a Latitude for $6430 Ultrabook. The prices were about $1,000 and then extra to have all the installation in it. I talked with our communications and network communications person that we have right now. Not only was there a bigger screen, but it included a lot more. Whoever wants to look at it can look at it. Plus 3 years of accidental damage service, 3 years of basic hardware service, a lot more for, if I would have got the installation, that would have been about $1,300 and we got it for $1,250 without the extra. So that was a good deal. Then,
You know, may I ask, what was the total with taxes again?
$1,250.
Okay, so now, you know, I had mentioned, because Lori Russellberg, the clerk, asked the excellent
Michael,
question.
these are my comments. You can wait to your board comments. Thank you. Thank you to Pat Running and the Planning Commission for working so hard on the cemetery ordinance. Greatly appreciate it. But our attorney's looking over the wording right now and reviewing the language. And we're also working on what the sexton duties are, being that we're new and not familiar with everything. The Easter egg hunt, we had about 70 kids. Thank you to Sandy's son for being the Easter Bunny and Michael for taking the pictures. Let us know when you can get those
Yep,
pictures
I've actually
to the
gotten some
township.
to
That would be great. Also spoke with Sheriff Donovan about contract and what the Sheriff's Department does to enforce blight. Which basically, he stated that that's not really their job. So I've been reviewing different blight ordinances as well as our own and from different communities and just trying to address some of the residents' concerns about it. Spring cleanup, we're trying to schedule spring cleanup tentatively. I think it's May 11th, which is a Saturday before Mother's Day. I don't know how far Michael volunteered to do it on Parks and Rec, but I don't know. I didn't heard anything in time. We're getting kind of cutting time close, so we had to figure out a date.
Right, I actually have the information ready for you, it's just that meeting was canceled.
Right, yeah, for lack of quorum. So
Yeah.
if you, any information, did you have a different date? That
Well,
was your date?
Well, right, yeah, I didn't know that May 11th was the official date.
It's not, but we were getting close to having to get the porta potties done and everything else, so, and I hadn't heard anything from you, so I just,
Right,
do you
right.
have a different date in mind?
I think that one would work,
That would
I mean,
work.
in that range.
Okay.
It needs to be on the weekend, they said that they'd like for it to be two, I've contacted 3 different garbage companies to make sure we can get the best price.
Okay, so how about we say tentatively?
Yes.
So that way we can figure out what date you want and try to get that up on the website and maybe get a sign out front.
Sure, yeah,
See
and,
who wants to volunteer. I was thinking the township hall, the parks and the cemetery, is that
yeah,
for you?
the way I always explained it to each garbage company was, phase 1 will be what you just said, pretty much from the township hall over to the cemetery. People could bring things if they wanted to. And it would be, I also talked to the Boy Scouts, maybe they could have little kids and stuff come over and get pop cans and stuff, pick up the garbage laying around. And then phase 2 would be the bigger project that I went door to door and people seemed to like the idea of, where we could get some volunteers for pickup trucks and, volunteers, like I'd be glad to volunteer, and go grab tires, paint cans and stuff for people, and then we bring it back here to the township hall. So,
Okay, we can add
You
that.
gave a tentative date of what?
May 11th? Okay. Michael, we'll get back on all of that with us, right?
Yep.
Okay, about how long do you need?
Is the planning, or excuse me, the Parks and Rec Committee meeting going to be
We
rescheduled?
don't have any Parks and Rec. It's you and I.
Oh, Courtney resigned?
She got another job, so that's why we couldn't have the meeting.
Gotcha.
So
So what's our quorum?
that's why I canceled it. We didn't have one.
Oh, okay,
So get with me on that, okay? And we'll just figure out whatever.
okay, all right.
Okay, I'll be glad to help. Okay, moving along to public comments.
On the camera issue, you said you asked for 3 quotes from 3 different people for
I
pricing.
called and nobody
You
returned
called.
my call.
Okay, you're supposed to get 3.
No, that's not our policy. It's not our
Well,
township
saving the township, us taxpayers money, you should have got 3
policy. But when they don't
quotes.
return your calls.
Then you
and
should have
you're
called
calling
2
them,
more,
well, thank you
and
for
if
letting
nobody
me-
answered, you should have called 2 more. You know,
Okay.
money's money, you have to save money. 3 prices, am I wrong? No?
Tried to call, I called Ron, it's not my, I can't help if they don't call me back.
That's like if you need an opinion from a doctor, if a doctor doesn't call you back, you're not gonna just take that opinion, you're gonna go look for 2 different opinions, same difference.
Thank you.
Ms. Lesko, for the alternative supervisor that we appointed, if you're not available, is he the supervisor then, or something happens to you? So we have actually got a person that is not elected as a supervisor for this township.
Well, if it wasn't me, then it would be somebody else, so.
I don't think you can vote though.
Right.
No, he can't
vote.
moderate
He
it.
can't
Cannot
vote,
vote.
no.
He can't
No, he
run a
can't vote.
meeting.
I'm sorry, misunderstood your
I'm
question,
sorry.
Joe.
Can I run
He
the
cannot
meeting?
run the meeting.
Can't run the
That
meeting,
falls to the
so
clerk.
that falls to her. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Been trying to think, the sickle here, he says he's got paperwork, and he's got it sent by you. It just blows my mind. What's that got to do with anything? That just don't make sense.
I'm sorry, when you say the sickle, what are you referring to? You can refer to him by his name or lead.
Zoran.
By the way,
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we need to stop.
Shouldn't we be
Thank
giving him a
you.
We
warning?
should-
I've sent
yeah,
you an email
okay.
later.
You're right, we shouldn't be calling people names.
All What's that got to do with anything where he sits? It just blows my mind that
I don't know, we'll have to look into the doctors and the lawyers thing. If it's a medical condition, we have to honor a medical condition.
well, yeah, what's the difference
I
where he
believe it's
sits on
under
that?
HIPAA, which is a private medical law, so it's none of your business either way.
Okay. Board member comment, oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you for letting me speak again, Supervisor Lisco. I have a few things that I want to say regarding some things that have happened tonight.
Where do you live?
You live in Cottrellville?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I live in Marine City, but I do attend these meetings regularly.
It's open to the public, anywhere.
I don't have to
You're
listen.
supposed to state your name and address when you make an address to the board.
It's
And
not
on the
mandatory.
podium.
In the podium, and at the
Yeah,
podium.
this is so crazy because we're trying to have just a nice meeting and everything,
Yeah.
so I guess we have to be official and do the podium and everything.
Well, if you don't live in
Everything
the
gets out,
township,
yeah.
how can he say anything?
Would you like me to go to the podium?
Yes.
Give me just one
This
second.
is what you need to read, sir. Michigan Open Meetings Act.
Sorry, Supervisor, I didn't know I was supposed to come up here. A few things I wanted to say. One, I just had a question because you mentioned when the security company was up here giving a presentation that you were going to outlaw cameras if they put in their cameras. And then you said, when you voted on the policy, that they'd have to be in the back of the room. Is it the policy that we're going with?
That's the policy that we're
Okay,
doing.
I just
It was
wanted to be sure.
a term.
Okay. And another thing, I don't appreciate members of the audience attacking members of the board. I disagree with some of the views of some of the board members, and I'll be the first to admit that. But I'm not going to stand up here or sit down there and call any of you names like sicko or make fun of them for their medical conditions, because that's none of my business.
I agree with you.
They're up there to do a job. They were elected. Whether or not you agree, recall them if you think they're doing wrong. If you have a reason, recall them. Don't sit here
I'm
and
working
call
on a
them names.
I agree. You know what, and it's getting to the point where that's why we have to make, okay, let's be so formal and everybody address the supervisor and everybody up here address the supervisor because it's getting out of hand.
Have Michael
It's a
get his
shame.
trash offline.
But everybody just needs to stop. It's a shame that we have meetings like this and that they're publicized because this is not how Cottrellville is.
I can't even speak because the audience is interrupting me when I'm trying to defend the board that
Exactly.
you guys elected.
But, and if I had to gavel everybody, we wouldn't have anybody in the audience. I mean, well, we would, but half of them, and half, same likewise with us. So I think everybody needs to shape up and look at the rules and,
You need to start
respectful,
gaveling people, Madam Supervisor.
Yeah, exactly, Michael, that would include you. So that's the thing, I mean, how ridiculous do we all have to be? It's embarrassing.
So when someone makes a vulgar comment, who would be in charge of gaveling, and why isn't it being done?
Then you have to gavel everybody, that's my fault, you're right. I should be gaveling everybody.
Someone needs to
Right,
stop
including
it.
your brother and everybody else. And you're not at the podium, so therefore I'd be gaveling you right now.
That's okay.
Okay, are you done?
No, I'm not. The same point that Leah's trying to make, it's been going on since the first time I came to one of these meetings. The same gentleman in the audience making extremely inappropriate comments about a board member. And it's just ridiculous. Whether or not you like the board members and you agree with them, you don't need to attack them. There's absolutely no reason for that. That just shows your character. It shows your character when you attack board members. Whether or not anybody's right, I don't even live in Cottrellville. I shouldn't be up
3
here.
minutes, 3 minutes.
Was that 3 minutes? Because you
No,
talked quite a bit.
actually,
They talked quite a bit.
No, I didn't do the time yet. We'll get more formal at the next meeting, I promise.
Madam Supervisor, just so other members of the audience understand. Right, well,
It's public comment right now.
I have
Anybody
a
can
comment
speak.
I'm
to
trying
make.
to stick to it.
I have a comment to make regarding that. Okay, I don't know about you guys. I know about you, Mr. Chartier, and I know your issue. We all have, not all of us, but we all have people in our lives that have health issues or they're disabled. Now, if they were our family members, we would not sit back and let somebody treat them with respect or belittle them. And I think all of us as adults in here should act like adults and keep our opinions to themselves until they come up to the podium and speak their issues. But don't disrespect somebody for health issues or disabilities that they have.
Thank you.
Agreed? Yes.
Agreed.
Okay. You guys can go to the podium.
My name's Josh Niels. I live at 440 Little Avenue. The picnic tables out by the pavilion that are out, my nephew and I helped to build for his Eagle Scout project. I was wondering what we were going to do with them. I would volunteer to move them to get them out of the weather if I could get people to help me.
We were looking at
But they've
those
been out
other
for a
days.
while and I'd like to put them somewhere.
Thank you. We'll write that down. After the meeting, can you give me your phone number?
Sure.
Greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Sir,
Or-
I actually have a business card you can have, because I'd like to help. I've heard that a zillion times. I mean, so I'll help you out.
Last one, and then we're gonna adjourn.
I have 3 minutes, correct?
Yes, you do.
Can you tell me who developed the specifications for the quote on the security system?
The gentleman who sent the quote. Oh, the
So there were no
specs. No, there was
specifications?
no specs.
Did the lawyer, or has your lawyer reviewed the scope of the cameras and the security system?
No.
Have you developed an ordinance on who's going to keep the videos and the recordings, if you will, that may be subject to chain of evidence?
No, that was coming next after we weren't sure if it was gonna be loaded into it, so we weren't sure what type of ordinance.
I guess I'm a little concerned that you move forward with a project that has its implications that have not thought of.
Well, we haven't developed an ordinance because we weren't sure if we're gonna purchase the equipment or not, so how would we put an ordinance on?
But yet you were asking for quotations. I would like to have on the record, would you name the 3 firms that you called, please?
I can get back with you with that, I don't have it with me.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
Because Dyke Security is one of the premier security firms in this area, and I cannot believe that the Van Conants would not have bid on this.
Can I get your phone number and your name afterwards? And
You have
I'll
it.
be happy to, I don't have your phone
Jim
number.
Hiller, 5939 Shortcut, 765-5987.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I get a motion for adjournment?
No, I'm not, I have a public comment, and also you left out board comments.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did.
The, as far as,
You want to start with your board comment?
yes,
Okay.
well, no, I want to start out with my public comment. You know, I've seen some very disappointing things. You know, perhaps it could be put on tape that, or recorded, there's people standing in the corner because their rights have been completely violated. The, as far as the,
That would be all in word of.
you know, placing a camera, being enforced, that's just a terrible, terrible thing. Also, I'm very, very disappointed that Mr. Ken Chartier has decided he believes sitting next to the supervisor is more important than another board member's health, or another person's health in general. A professional neurologist has said it's in my best health interest to sit in an inferior position, and this particular board member, Mrs. Sandra Keys, she has a hearing problem, so that she has to.
I don't appreciate you bringing that up with that issue.
Well, I'm trying to defend you. I'm trying to protect you,
Don't
because
you think it's ironic that a week before that incident happened, you emailed all of us with the exact scenario that was gonna take place?
no, I said, listen, Kelly,
A week before, you sent us all an email saying that, what if I have a seizure and nobody's there if I don't sit next to Kelly? And a week later, you have a seizure and,
that's the point that I was trying to make. Exactly.
Are you saying he faked a seizure, or like, what are
I
you
just think it's
saying?
ironic.
No, it's not.
It is ironic, exactly.
Okay, guys,
No, it's not ironic, it's called, I said what.
Before saw, before, you know, the whole.
Wow, so you're accusing him now,
okay,
okay?
yeah, again.
I'm curious, why do devils like that happen when people stick up
We
for
were
me,
just talking about.
but not when insults fly in my direction? All right, let's just make sure.
You're not good at insulting people on the internet.
Okay, let's
So is Kelly.
Everybody stop.
Kelly first.
Okay, I'm gonna move it along and motion to adjourn. I
You
second.
just violated my rights. 3 minutes had not been expired.
That's fine.
And by the way, I have a friend I've known since the 4th grade back there, and
Second, Lori.
I specifically put it on the
All in
agenda
favor?
that,
Aye.
that he get to speak about the new bike path.
Are you in favor?
And there was no,
Opposed? Motion carries.